We live in a time where it's cool to be evil. And if you are speaking the truth, then you are considered lethal. Dang. Please do not let them deceive you. The Most High is coming back soon with vengeance and wrath for the evil. I do not care if they kill me. You see, 'cause my soul is immortal. The money and gold not important. The Most High restoring the order. I pray for your sons and your daughter. For real.
Hey, what's good, family? So I wanted to get into this topic of the kingdom of YAH. And by the way, if you guys hear crazy screaming from kids and stuff like that, that's my kids. They're in the back. They're outside playing around. So everything's okay, but hopefully it'll be quiet enough for me to continue with this study today. Anyway, though, so I'm going to get into Revelation 21. And first things first, Revelation 21, verse 1. Now I saw a new heaven and a new earth. Okay, so if we go to, let me see, regarding a new heaven here. Okay, so Revelation chapter 6, and then if we go down to the sixth seal, okay, so Yeshua's in heaven breaking these seals off a scroll, and when he gets to the sixth seal, it's verse 12, he says, I looked when he opened the sixth seal, John's watching him, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became like blood, and the stars of heaven fell to the earth, as a fig tree drops its late figs when it is shaken by a mighty wind. Then the sky receded as a scroll when it is rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved out of its place. Okay, so here we see that the sky receded or split apart. Okay, so the sky cracked open. All right, the dome, the firmament cracked open, and that also explains, I guess, why these stars are falling out. Because if you go back to Genesis 1, you'll see that the stars are built into the firmament. So if the firmament is being destroyed here, then that would explain why the stars are falling. But anyway, all that to say that the firmament is being broken apart, so it makes sense that the Most High would have to end up making a new heaven. Okay, so then he also ends up making a new earth. Okay, so if we go to, let's see, I think Deuteronomy 22 or 32. Okay, so Deuteronomy 32, I'm just going to start in verse 19. And when Yah saw it, he spurned them being Yasharel, because of the provocation of his sons and his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end will be, for they are a perverse generation, children in whom is no faith. They have provoked me to jealousy by what is not Elohim. They have moved me to anger by their foolish idols. But I will provoke them to jealousy by those who are not a nation. I will move them to anger by a foolish nation. Okay, so now, looking back on these things, we know that this foolish nation that he provoked us with is the Gentiles. If you're confused about this, I believe it's Paul, I think, mentions it in Romans 10. Let me see. Yeah, so Paul mentions this in Romans 10, and he breaks it down. But anyway, verse 22, for a fire is kindled in my anger and shall burn to the lowest hell. It shall consume the earth with her increase and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. So, in both of these situations with Deuteronomy 32, verse 22, where we see the Most High is consuming the earth and her foundations, and then also from Revelation 6, where he's cracking the sky open, okay, it is clear that the Most High is going to be destroying the firmament, the current firmament that we know, as well as the earth as she is today, according to his wrath when he comes down. Okay, this is really summed up well in Peter. Okay, so this is 2 Peter chapter 3. I'm going to start in verse 10. But the day of YAH will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens will pass away with a great noise. And there goes the firmament. And the elements will melt with fervent heat. Both the earth and the works that are in it will be burned up. Therefore, since all these things will be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in holy conduct and godliness, looking for and hastening the coming of the day of Elohim, because of which the heavens will be dissolved, being on fire, and the elements will melt with fervent heat? Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth in which righteousness dwells. Hallelujah. Okay, so Peter basically summed all that up. And he even tells you here again, which coincides with what John's saying, right? That a new heavens and a new earth is coming. Okay, so I saw a new heaven and a new earth. So we know those things are coming from Peter and John actually was able to see them. For the first heaven and the first earth had passed away. Also, there was no more sea. So this is interesting. Let me think. In 2nd Esdras, he brings this up. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so this is 2nd Esdras chapter 6, and if I go down to the third dialogue, starting verse 35, then he starts talking about what the Most High did on during the week of creation. And let me see. He mentions something really interesting. Okay, so here, verse 42, on the third day you commanded the waters to be gathered together in a seventh part of the earth. But you made 6 parts dry and preserved them, so that some of these might be sown and cultivated to be of service before you. So, and then he continues and goes on. This whole chapter 6 of 2nd Esdras, is really interesting. But anyway, here on the third day, he tells us that initially, before the flood, there was way less water on the earth, right? It was only the whole world that he created, only 1/7, okay, of the world was water. All right, so what that means is, the Most High didn't want to flood the earth. He had to save his creation because of all the things that came out of the watchers coming down. And so the world that we see today is not ideal. It's not what the Most High initially intended and planned for. Okay, so that being said, we have a lot more water in this world now that we see that he originally intended and created. Okay, so that being said, it kind of makes more sense that if he initially made this world with a small portion of it being water, and then now we see this new heaven and earth and has no water. Okay, so it's kind of consistent there. And then also, if we look at the bowl judgments, so Revelation 16 goes over the bowl judgments as these angels are pouring out these bowls upon the earth, and then something terrible happens basically. But during the second bowl, okay, then the second angel poured out his bowl on the sea, and it became blood as of a dead man, and every living creature in the sea died. Okay, so the oceans are going to become blood. All right. And then if we go down, the next bowl, drinking water becomes blood. And this angel actually explains why. He says, and you have given them, for verse 6, for they have shed the blood of the Kodashim and prophets, and you have given them blood to drink, for it is their just due. Okay, so the oceans will turn to blood, and then drinking water, rivers and springs are going to turn to blood. Okay, but all that to say, maybe it has to recede first or something, and so that may be another reason why. Anyway, I'm not sure from the studies that I've done. I haven't seen something that says specifically why that there is no sea, but those things may play a part in it. Okay, so then I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from Elohim, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Elohim is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. Okay, so here, a new heaven is made, a new earth is made, and then all of a sudden, this city is coming down, okay, from the sky, okay, from his kingdom above where it is now. All right, and all this is because he's going to dwell among his people, right? Let's see. Behold, the tabernacle of Elohim is with men. This is verse 3. And he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. Elohim himself will be with them and be their Elohim. And Elohim will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away. Okay, so a lot being said there. But this incredible city is coming down, all right? The New Jerusalem, right? We see it here. Let's see, did he already mention it? Yeah. I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from Elohim. Okay? She's prepared as a bride because that's the bride of the Lamb, of Yeshua. Okay, and we'll get to that in a minute, but this city has to be holy. It was built holy, and it will continue to be holy, according to who is allowed in it. All right? And then also notice that he said, Elohim will wipe away every tear from their eyes. So every citizen that has citizenship into the kingdom of YAH, nobody is going to be sad. Nobody's going to be, depressed or anxious. All those things, and sorrow, pain, all that is going to be gone. Okay. That being said, that means that, remember that Yeshua brought up, with his cousin John the Baptist, that John wasn't even better than the least that was in heaven. Okay? And John took that really well. He wasn't like, wow, really? I mean, we cousins, you gonna do me like that? No, he didn't say anything like that. So he was, John was humble enough to accept this and understand it, that whoever is the least in heaven already, they are still completely fulfilled and satisfied in his kingdom, just as whoever the greatest is. Okay? Whoever the greatest aside from the Most High and Yeshua. But so there will be people, the righteous from all these different nations in his kingdom. Okay? And they are not, nobody's going to be slaves in the kingdom of YAH. Okay? But there is a government. Okay? There will be a specific way of governing, and we already know that Yeshua is king, right? So the Most High, everything is his, and he has given everything in inheritance to his son. Therefore, everything will be run through Yeshua. All right? Okay, so let's keep going. I'm going to drop down to verse 9 here. Then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls filled with the 7 last plagues came to me and talked with me, saying, Come, I will show you the bride, the Lamb's wife. All right, so I've gone over this before, but I'm gonna go over it again real quick and just really get into this. The New Jerusalem, I feel like it causes a lot of confusion, and then I'll actually draw it out, so hopefully that'll help too. But anyway, he says, he carried me away in the Ruach to a great and high mountain and showed me the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from Elohim, having the glory of Elohim. Her light was like a most precious stone, like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. Also, she had a great and high wall with 12 gates. Okay, so it has 12 gates. and 12 angels at the gates, and names written on them. Okay, what are the names? Which are the names of the 12 tribes, okay, of the children of Yasharel. 3 gates on the east, 3 gates on the north, 3 gates on the south, and 3 gates on the west. Okay, so this setup is exactly resembling the setup of the camps in which Moshe set up the camps of Yasharel after they came out of ancient Egypt, okay, and they were in the wilderness. He set them up, and their camps were set up this way. And this constantly happens, where the Most High, the way He worked for the ancient Israelites, really foreshadows what He had planned, or what He had planned to do in the future. Okay, so all right, so let's keep going. But already, like, everything about this city is a representation of Yasharel. Okay, so in as this city honors His people, it honors Him. Okay, verse 14. Now the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and on them were the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. Okay, so again, the 12 apostles on the 12 foundations with the 12 gates. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is consistent here. And he who talked with me had a gold reed to measure the city, its gates, and its wall. The city is laid out as a square. Its length is as great as its breadth. And he measured the city with the reed, 12,000 furlongs. Its length, breadth, and height are equal. Then he measured its wall, 144 cubits. Okay? Keep that in mind, 144 cubits, according to the 144K, also known as the first fruits, also known as the tithe. Okay? According to the measure of a man, that is of an angel. Okay, the construction of its wall was of jasper, and the city was pure gold like clear glass. The foundations of the wall of the city were adorned with all kinds of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third chalcedony, the fourth emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth sardius, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th chrysoprase, the 11th jacinth, and the 12th amethyst. Okay, so if these gems sound familiar, these are the exact gems in the exact order that the priest would wear on the ephod. It was a plate that he would wear over his chest. Okay, if you remember King David, when he was probably running away from Saul or something like that, but he was on the run at one point, and he stopped by the temple and took, like, he didn't have a sword, so he took, I think, the sword of Goliath, and he took the ephod. That was one of the ways that the Most High would communicate with the Israelites in the old days. But anyway, all that to say, these gems also represent Yasharel. Okay, so in everything about this city, it represents Yasharel. This city is made for Israelites. Okay, that's why it has the gates, right? And it said that each of the gates was one of the tribes of Yasharel on them. Okay, so not everybody's going to live in this one city. Okay, if that were so, then why would he make a new earth? What's the point of making a new earth if everybody's just going to live in one city? So this one, I'm gonna draw it out. Okay, so that represents Jerusalem, the New Jerusalem. Okay, and I don't know what the new earth is going to look like, but I'm just going to draw this. Okay, all right, so this circle around the city, the great city of the king, right? And remember, this New Jerusalem came out of the sky, because Jerusalem, she has to be perfect as her bride is perfect, right? Her bride is Yeshua. And so she has to be pure for her groomsmen, for her groom. Okay, so anyway, this circle represents the land or boundary of Yasharel. This is where Yasharel will be in the new kingdom, okay? And around that and it's not going to be like a circle like I'm drawing, but hopefully you guys get the idea here. Actually, let me write this. Okay. Okay, there's New Jerusalem. Okay, this is where Yasharel will live. Okay. And then there will be, you know, all this is in the new earth, and this will be the righteous of the rest of the nations, including the Gentiles. Like the Gentiles will have a specific portion in here. Okay, but like I said, this is there are tangibles that for me personally I had to get out of the thinking of like Eurocentric Christianity, which is what I was, that was my impression before the Most High awakened me. And so what I mean with tangibles is, remember Yeshua spoke and said, don't store up your treasure here on earth. Store your treasure where moths aren't going to get to it, where it's not going to be decayed, where you don't have to worry about inflation, what's going to happen to the world market and how's it going to affect this bank, those types of things, right? Store your treasure above. So why do we even need treasure? He's telling you, there's going to be some sort of currency going on in the new kingdom, right? And even in this world, the Most High created gold and silver. Specifically, those things, gold and silver, are very valuable because there's not a lot of them. So he actually gave us a natural currency to use in this world. So it makes sense that he would have some sort of currency in the world to come as well. But anyway, all that to say, this is a government, okay? And Yeshua is going to reign over his kingdom, okay? And he's going to give rulership to his people, okay? And so Yasharel will rule over the rest of the nations, okay? In integrity, in honor, according to our king. In New Jerusalem, this is where King Yeshua will be, along with the Most High, and this is where the first fruits will live, okay? So only the first fruits are here in Jerusalem, the New Jerusalem. The rest of the Israelites are in our own place, okay? And the rest of the nations have their own place, all right? And regularly, at least annually, we know that all these will come to the New Jerusalem to pay honor and tribute to the Most High. Okay, that's brought up. Let's see. Okay, so this is Revelation 21, and it's verse 22. But I saw no temple in it, for the Adonai Elohim Almighty and the Lamb are its temple. The city had no need of the sun or of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of Elohim illuminated it. The Lamb is its light, and the nations of those who are saved shall walk in its light. And the kings of the earth, see, not everybody's in the city. The kings of the earth bring their glory and honor into it. Its gates shall not be shut at all by day. There shall be no night there. Okay, the gates are not shut because people are constantly coming through paying tribute. Okay, where are they coming from? They're coming from their own places. And they shall bring the glory and the honor of the nations into it. Okay, but there shall by no means enter it anything that defiles or causes an abomination or a lie, but only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life. So again, purity. Okay, this city represents purity. Now she must be pure for her husband, who is Yeshua, okay? And he's being married to his people, all right? The first fruits. That's why they go wherever he goes. This also actually, if you read, I think it's 2nd Esdras 9 and 10, okay? I'm not going to get into it in this. It would take too long. Actually, I might end up doing another study on Zion alone. But if you go down to 2nd Esdras chapter 9 and you start at verse 26 and then just read this and then read chapter 10 as well, it really correlates to the New Jerusalem, and you'll see that this is her, and then you'll see it makes sense that she has the first fruits in her. All that to say though, so again, everybody in the kingdom is going to be completely satisfied and fulfilled. Okay, everybody's going to be following King Yeshua. Okay, but we all have our own roles, and there is going to be a hierarchy, as there already is. Okay, there already is a hierarchy in the kingdom of YAH, and we know that because there are some angels are archangels. Okay, so the title of having Michael being an archangel, that tells you that he is higher in status than some other angels. So are those other angels like upset, like, well, why is he higher than me? No, that's those things are gone. That's not part of his kingdom. That's part of the carnal kingdom that we live in down here. Okay, the kingdom of darkness. The kingdom of YAH is the kingdom of light, the kingdom of immortals. Okay, so he's trying to tell you, everything is new. Remember, Yeshua makes all things new. So he has a new bride that has not been defiled, right? And she will stay that way because only certain people will be able to come into her. All right, and then even with Yasharel around, okay, like all the righteous people of the earth, okay, regardless of lineage, all those who have citizenship into his kingdom, the kingdom of YAH, everybody has to be reborn again, right? Okay, so that also coincides with the kingdom of YAH is within you, because you actually have citizens of this immortal kingdom, and we are already where the new earth will be, right? But it just hasn't come yet. So it then makes sense that everything is new, okay, including the firmament and the city and the earth, along with he even renews the citizens ourselves, which we had to be to cleanse us, right? So his entire kingdom is pure, just as he is, just as the Most High. So that said, everybody in this kingdom is going to be completely satisfied forever. Okay? For Israelites, okay? For those who are Israelites in this world, stay away from exalting yourself. Don't exalt yourself, okay? Because look at this kingdom that he's already shown us. So you already should know that you are a royal by lineage, okay? You are already rich. So what is the point of chasing those things in this world, in the kingdom of darkness? It's embarrassing. You see what I'm saying? In regards to this breakdown and the nations paying tribute, this comes up actually in Zechariah 14. So if we go down in Zechariah 14, I'm going to start in verse 16. It says, "And it shall come to pass that everyone who is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall go up from year to year to worship the King, YAH of hosts, and to keep the feast or tabernacles. Notice that all the nations must come and pay tribute to the Most High in his own city according to his own festival. Okay? And it shall be that whichever of the families of the earth do not come up to Jerusalem to worship the King, YAH of hosts, on them there will be no rain. So he's saying to the world, you must come and pay tribute to the Most High where he is, right? So they have to come up to Jerusalem, but also those who don't will get sanctioned. All right. In this case, they won't have rain. So because we see that, there are certain nations that likely will say, no, we're not going to do that. And then they'll end up getting sanctioned with famine. Well, with no rain, which will likely result in famine and drought. We know that this is before the final judgment. Okay? So again, we see in history, okay, well, this is future for us now, but this is still part of the history of mankind. We see in the history of mankind, again, this whole situation foreshadows what he intends to do in his kingdom once it's established down here. And then if we go to Ezekiel 37, this also at the end here breaks this down again. Okay, so Dawid my servant, this is Ezekiel 37 verse 24. Dawid my servant shall be king over them, and they shall all have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them. Okay, they being Yasharel. And he's saying this because this is something that we did not do when we were in our land before, right? We did not walk in his judgments and observe his statutes. Then they shall dwell in the land that I have given to Yaakov my servant, right? See, where your fathers dwell, and they shall dwell there, they, their children, and their children's children forever. Okay, so now he's kind of, from where we are right now, looking forward to this, this is really signifying or highlighting the second Exodus. Okay, the second Exodus of Yasharel coming out of the nations and back home into our land, which is coming soon. It's coming soon, family. But anyway, they shall dwell there, they, their children, and their children's children forever, and my servant Dawid shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. Okay, so a renewed covenant is coming, and it shall be an everlasting covenant with them. I will establish them and multiply them, and I will set my sanctuary in their midst forevermore. Okay, my tabernacle also shall be with them. Indeed, I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. The nations also will know that I, Yah, sanctify Yasharel when my sanctuary is in their midst forevermore. Okay, so the Most High is going to dwell among his people, just like we showed, right? The Most High is here. Here's his people, okay? Here's the first fruits within, and then here's the rest of the nations, all right? So anyway, I hope that makes sense, and I hope that really gets through specifically to the Gentiles. I really wanted to just show that everybody is going to be happy in this kingdom, okay? Right now, I think it's hard for some people to think like, well, certain people are going to rule, and then, what does that mean? Does that mean some people are going to be slaves or servants or something? First of all, if we're following the example that our king showed us while he was here on earth, everybody's going to serve each other, okay? But in any case, we do have some details regarding this, and regarding those details, we know that there will not be any sorrow. All praises to the Most High Yah. and to the line of Yehuda. Peace and love, family.